Welcome to the long-awaited Breakaway Rail Talk, episode 11, we believe. But thanks for joining us. As always, Breakaway Rail Talk is brought to you by Arian Pedigrees. That's arian.co.nz, Australia and New Zealand's leading thoroughbred pedigree provider. And I can tell you, and you've heard from our friend Andrew Stewart, just how cool and exciting and easy to read the Arian Pedigrees are. With breeding season coming up, I use their website almost exclusively when it comes to predicting what matings are going to look like, how much inbreeding is going to be involved, what the catalog page would project to. It's my go-to when I am putting together pedigrees. That's arion.co.nz. Arian Pedigrees, the place to go to see what things look like. So welcome to a special bi-coastal Breakaway Rail Talk with my guest, Leif in the home office of Fasig-Tipton in Kentucky, and Jesse Ullery out in California getting ready to be the voice of the sale for the California yearlings. Guys, thanks so much for coming aboard on a special Breakaway show.
Thanks for having us, John.
It's our pleasure.
So, Jesse, I'm going to start with you because you are known as the voice of Fasig-Tipton, which is quite a mantle. I guess that means if Boyd is the heart of Fasig and Anna is the brains of Fasig. Leif, I don't know where that leaves you, but we'll come back to that with you as to where you fit in the anatomy of Fasig-Tipton. But Jesse, give us some background on how you came aboard with Fasig and your illustrious career pre-Fasig.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Billings, Montana, and my grandfather trained thoroughbreds, kind of more as a hobby than anything, but spent a lot of time with him on the Montana fair circuits as a kid, and was always fascinated with pedigrees for some reason. I don't know where that came from, but just always fascinated with pedigrees. And then I ended up moving to Phoenix with my mom when I was 10. And kind of looking for a way to fit in, I started announcing schoolyard football games, like imitating Pat Summerall and John Madden, just kind of imitating them. And then it basically led to a career. I started calling races when I was 19 years old. The announcing was the best way for me to kind of mesh the two passions that I had, which were thoroughbred racing and then announcing. I announced all through high school, my high school sports. And actually, when I was 14 years old, I sent a tape to Fasig, reading pedigrees. I put on a coat and tie in my living room in Phoenix and recorded myself reading pedigrees. And I wasn't of legal age to work at the time. It was probably a little bit of an oversight to do a video recording, but that's basically, how I got into the industry. I started calling races. I was a director of racing for a little while in Oklahoma, and then moved on to the announcing side of things. And I've been doing that at Fasig since 2018, and November 2018.
Wow. No, that's incredible. And just for the audience, so they understand, Fasig did not solicit underage videos. Okay. You sent that in on your own volition. Yeah. All right. We want to make sure we have a disclaimer. We have a disclaimer, and you were and you were in a suit and tie. So everything was good on.
Everything was up to cuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. And Leif, your career with Fasig is almost as long, right? You've been there for a while.
I came to Fasig-Tipton when the digital sales began, so that would have been in 2022. So only a couple years into it. So prior to here, I was at Juddmonte. I managed Airgate's book over at Juddmonte, which was ton of fun, absolutely a ton of fun. And then before that, I worked at TaylorMade for about 10 years, recruiting fillies and mares, and basically we called them account managers at the time. And so I went to the Mark Taylor and Frank Taylor School of horse sales for a long time, and that was good. And then prior to that, when I did the Darley Flying Start program for 2 years. And then before that, my first job ever was at Juddmonte when I was 16, before I could drive. So wow. I've been doing it a long time now.
Yeah, no, and you guys found your respective passions, it sounds like, when you were in your teens, which is unheard of and great, but also explains why you've been able to rise to the levels that you are right now. So for those kids who are listening at home, it pays to follow your passion, and that's an amazing thing. Both of you went through phenomenal programs. So Leif, let's just dive right into the advent of the digital sales and how it's developed and just what you've seen since March of 22 when the first digital sale for Fasig went live.
Yeah, I think originally Boyd had thought about doing digital sales in reaction to COVID. You didn't want to rush it and go too quick. I think he really wanted to know the landscape of what it was going to be like on digital sales. And I think that was a smart move to do. We got to watch some other people do it and try to see where we could do better than they did. And, it was from the beginning, it was clear to me, I can see on the back end for how many people are on the website, how many people are looking through the documents, how much action there is. It was clear to me from the first sale that this was going to be successful. It was really in 2024, it would have been the Lothenbach dispersal where we really saw an explosion of people coming onto the website. And then after that, we saw an explosion of entries and every sale. It's just, I don't know where it's going to stop. I mean, the exponential growth has been such a fun ride, and it's who knows where we're going to get to.
Right. And I think part of the reason why there's been such an explosion and a growth on your platform is because you guys are constantly innovating and tweaking it. And I know from being both on the selling side and the buying side, one of the things that I've enjoyed is the incorporation of Jesse, of your calls with 3 minutes left, on a horse, and you're highlighting the horse's attributes, whether it's physical or pedigree or race record. And that gets the blood pumping almost as much as if you're sitting right there in a sale. What goes into that? Because you guys, it amazes me that you can continually come up with new facts and new intrigue on a horse that may have been kicked 4 or 5 times in the last couple of minutes. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have another 2 minutes of bidding. Oh, we have another. How do you come up with a script for that?
Honestly, there's no way to really come up with a script for it. I mean, you can make notes and you can plan, but I think the beauty of it is, and it's going back to what we said at the top of the broadcast, was that we have a passion for what we do. And I'm so grateful to be joined by Frank Alosa, who's another young guy that's been helping us out with that. And it creates a great dynamic. And I think that's the beauty of the digital platform is it is new. It is a new horizon. So we can kind of treat this almost like a Manning cast, if you will. I'm not comparing us to the Mannings, but like we treat it as you're watching a sale and we're providing live commentary of that sale, as opposed to a traditional sale where we read the pedigree, you sell the horse, you see the horse in the ring. So that's kind of a formula that's set up. But with digital, there's so many things to talk about. You've got racehorses, you've got mares. You can talk about what's coming in the pipeline for a mare. And that 2 minutes of overtime, that soft close that we call it, it gives you an opportunity to keep elaborating and keep going in a little bit deeper. Obviously, we want to be expedient in it and deliver the information in a timely manner. But at the same time, it's kind of a new horizon for us. So we do a lot of preparation. We look through all the horses. We make sure we have notes in case there is a long overtime. We hope that we have to use all those notes, but it's not, there's really no way to plan for it.
Right.
Just like when I was calling races, you can handicap the race all you want, but if the 1-9 favorite, breaks late coming out of the gate, then all of a sudden that's going to throw off your race call. So you don't necessarily plan for it. You just be prepared as you can, and then just commentate the action as it happens.
And John, let me jump in there to finish this because he won't brag on himself, but I do think Jesse and Frank are doing an amazing job with closing out our sales because there is so much information and content, and you as a seller understand, John, that it's so important to get the best facts out about your horse. Mm-hmm. And so, you have your consignor doing that, and then you also have Jesse doing that, and it's teamwork from all, touches of the horse. It's from Fasig, from the consignor, and then when all that comes together, it's basically the same ingredients that we have for an in-person sale. We're just delivering it a little differently than we normally would. So it's no surprise that it's as popular as it is because you look at how many people like to go to an in-person sale. Mm-hmm. Well, now the people can experience that from their own home, which it's so much more convenient. It's been so much fun to watch this thing evolve from Jesse just being audio to Jesse being on video to now we have a lot more entries. So now we got Jesse and Frank. Now we got I'm sitting in this studio right now where these guys do this sale and they're switching back and forth and there's computer screens everywhere. And
the production value has really, I mean, it's really, I could never have dreamed it. I mean, we kind of sat around when we first talked about adding to the platform and making it, continuing to add and make it more entertaining, even for that perspective. It's a great platform as far as the availability for liquidity of a horse. If you get an instant update,
right,
it provides an instant option to sell the horse. But now we're adding all these new layers to it. And I mean, it's incredible. We've got Thad and Isaac who help us out. They are definitely the unsung heroes. They literally built that studio from the ground up. They do all the production on the back end of it. So like Lee said, it's a team effort. We treat each horse like they're our own horse, and how would we want to sell that horse when given the opportunity?
Yeah, and I think both of you guys are being modest also in the fact that you go to a sale and hip number one comes in the ring. You hear all the attributes of hip number one. You bid on the horse. The horse goes to the ring. It's over. Hammer goes down. Hip number two comes in. But in this kind of a platform, hip number one may go into overtime, and it doesn't stop hip number 2, 3, 4 from elapsing their time also. So all of a sudden, you're in there, you're juggling two balls, which is kind of easy. And then they throw like a chainsaw at you. And then you're juggling those, and they throw like a flaming torch at you, and you're juggling those, and you can't get rid of ball number one until the bidding is stopped. So it's amazing to me as somebody who does who tries to do podcasts and is in the quote unquote entertainment world, to watch you guys with your degree of difficulty going up, and rightfully so. Usually the better horses are in the beginning of the sale, and all of a sudden you're throwing in a $200,000 horse at overtime, and now there's a horse coming in at 20,000, but you give it the same amount of energy and focus as the $200,000 horse. And to me, who throws a lot of horses on the digital platform, that's really important because if we want to have a 100% clearance rate, it's important for you guys to focus on. And I really feel like that you give that focus over like a 3-hour window too. It's not like the show is over. I get 15 minutes and I'm exhausted doing the podcast. I mean, you're in there 3-4 hours doing this.
No, John, it's like 8 hours for the big sales. He sits in there forever. Like we literally joke with him. I'm like, how are you guys going to go to the bathroom? Like, like, do we have to pan over so one of them can sneak out and go? And then, I mean, it's crazy. Like it's 8 hours of sitting there, and we chain them to the desk, but I think they would stay there even if we didn't do that.
Yep. Absolutely. No. And I think the statistics show why you've had, $31 million in digital sales in 2024. And your clearance rate, Leif, what's the clearance rate this year?
It's 83% clearance, which I always, when we're talking about the digital sales, to me is the most important thing. 83% clearance says the market is strong from top to bottom. And that's our goal. I mean, we're here for the sellers. We could only focus on the good ones, or we could, to me, it's so important that horses are getting sold. I mean, that's our job as an auction house, is to make sure things are getting sold. And so 83%, you just don't find that. Yeah.
And I'm going to jump in there just briefly, John, because Leif is being modest here. Now it's his turn to be modest. But it's honestly, it's a team effort to talk to the sellers and to the consignor agents. We work very closely with all of them, with everybody who consigns a horse. We try to establish expectations on both our end and their end. And I think that leads to the success of the platform. It creates confidence in the marketplace. And I think he's done a great job of being able to manage expectations for everybody.
Yep. No, absolutely. And you're right. It was the brainchild of you guys to do this. And that's why you're leading in that platform, which is outstanding, because there are other sales companies that are trying to come in and I think they almost see the success that you guys are having on the digital platform. And they're like, this is easy. This has got to be easy with an 80% clearance rate and all this money coming in. But they don't see all the work and all the expertise that goes into it. And quite frankly, that's why we've been so comfortable in selling with you. For those of you who are listening at home, just came in, we're here with Fasig-Tipton stars, Leif Aaron and Jesse Ullery, who are talking about the digital platform and just how it's developed. Leif, I'm going to have you hold your ears for a second, because I want to ask Jesse a personal question. Okay. And then you can come back on. Jesse, when I get a physical catalog, I leaf through it and I'm very excited to see, who's in there and everything like that. Is it more exciting for you to see a dispersal on the on the platform, or specific horses? What gets your juices flowing when you have another digital sale coming up?
To be perfectly honest, they're all very exciting. I mean, yes, the dispersal helps because it's going to drive people to the website, just like it would drive them to a live sale. We saw it, as Leif mentioned, with the Lothenbach dispersal. We saw it with the Horses of Racing Age, and then we saw it in the February sale, the in-person sale that we had. It drove a lot of people to there, and I think we even sold the dam of Nisos in there for $2 million. So that's just it's a perfect situation to have that. But I like to see racehorses that have conditions. I mean, I like to see all kinds of racehorses, and I think you get excited when you have a horse who got an update recently, or it's a half sibling to a horse that just won a graded stakes race, or it's the dam of a recent graded stakes winner. Those are always exciting horses because that's the beauty of the digital marketplace, is it opens up the world to these people, and you can market your horse literally to the world 30 days after you get an update.
Well, and to me, as a buyer and a seller, that was the most intriguing, was if you have a potential for a quick return on your investment. I mean, there are horses that literally have gone through these sales and have, on a Tuesday when it closes, and have run on Saturday and have won, as quickly as that. You have Mensa, Ice Cream, You Scream, Shareholder, Cloud Dancer, Manuel, Nadet. I mean, you have those kind of graded horses that have gone through, your platform. And to me, that's what gets the most excitement and the juices flowing. Leif, when people are calling you or reaching out to you with entries, and they say, hey, you have a physical brick and mortar auction house and you have this digital sale coming up, which venue is best for my horse? What are some of the things that you go through with them to make that decision? Because that's an interesting analysis by you.
Yeah, it's it varies a lot, but I think that with race horses, if you hit the timing right for our July Horses of Racing Age sale here, it's a great sale to come to in person, brick and mortar. But that's hard to hit that timing just right and be in top form and have everything go your way and be, and to go to our sale. So what I'm offering, I guess, more than anything is the ease of use. So if your horse happens to pop now, you can sell it right now. We can do a flash sale. We can do a monthly sale. We're having one every 30 days. So it's basically just flexibility in the market for racehorses. Now, for brood mares, what I'm starting to find is, our November sale is it's the top dog, top dollar. It is a all-star cast of horses, and it's an event people come to because the best horses in the United States are all in one place. And so buyers, fans, everybody wants to be there. So that makes total sense. And I think the part of the market too that I'm really starting digitally to get into is the breeding stock, because, there's so much less stress on the mares for staying in their home, staying in their routine. The stud farms have been great to work with on how they're doing the stud fees and how they're being paid for those. And it's kind of changed the game for that level of breeding stock. And it's better for the sellers and the buyers, because the buyers are not having to travel to Kentucky for 2 weeks at a time. And, I just don't think it's not reasonable in today's day and age to ask somebody to come to Kentucky for 2 weeks out of their lives to come buy horses. So now we're offering them stay at home. We're going to give you all the information, if not more information, on the digital sales, and you're going to have more time to make up your mind as well.
Right.
So, I think that's for both sides. I started rambling there a little bit, but for both sides, I think that's why it's been so successful.
Yeah. And I think, I read an article the other day that talked about how almost 30% of mares that go through the auction actually go through a non-digital auction, a physical auction, fail to have a live fall that year. and it's tough. It's stressful on them. It's new environment. They're being asked to walk around and do all the things that they did maybe when they were yearlings, but certainly haven't done in a long time. And it's got to cause additional stress, to their system. So to be able to have a horse, a broodmare, go through a digital sale where they're not leaving the confines of their own pasture, they're not leaving their farm, has got to be better for the mare and also for the in utero foal as well. So I think it opens it up, to a lot better overall situation for both the buyer and the seller. I just want to ask you guys one more quick question. And Jesse, I'm going to start with you. Where do you see the digital platform continuing and developing, and how is your what is your role going to be in that scenario?
I mean, I think we're just at the precipice of this. I think the opportunity for us, even in the early days, like we offered a stallion share for a horse who was standing in France. So I think it just opens up the opportunity, and it'll be interesting to see how it evolves in conjunction with the sport of horse racing itself. There's a lot of talk about, adding like a handicapping system. And I know you guys have talked about, on your podcast, having a handicap rating system. I think that's something to certainly explore, and it's a great opportunity to see with racehorses. I think it kind of gives the opportunity for a smaller guy to stay in the game where he doesn't have to run a horse for 20,000 claim and there's 19 claims in on the horse.
Right.
So no, I think that's a great opportunity for it. As far as my role goes, I mean, we're still going to be here. We're going to be talking about the horses. We're going to be doing our very best to sell a horse, whether it's in the live sale or on a digital sale. I enjoy the recruiting process. I enjoy following racing and reaching out to people to see if there's anything we can do to create some liquidity for their racing operation or their breeding operation. And also just doing a better job of supporting regional markets. I think we saw a great amount of success in the August digital sale with Fred Alexander from the A&A Ranch in New Mexico. Obviously, they were under some trying times out there with the situation in Ruidoso, New Mexico. So I think as an industry, the more we can do to support regional markets and make sure that those are strong, both breeding and racing, then we're doing our job here at Fasig-Tipton, and we're doing our job for the industry. And as a guy who grew up in regional markets, they're very near and dear to my heart. So I want to see those continue to succeed and do whatever we can to support those.
Yeah, I think Jesse's exactly right about the regional part of that, because we are seeing a lot of regional participation as far as purchasing. So I do think for a while we lost that second tier of racing outside of Kentucky that, it was dwindling, and there was a lot of different programs that were trying to put in place to bolster it. And at the end of the day, they just didn't have the horses. And what we're seeing now is a lot of horses being funneled out of Kentucky to these regional markets. So, we're helping the sellers and the buyers once again. And that's why it's working the way it is, because it's beneficial for everyone.
Right. No, that's excellent. And Leif, just to finish off a quick question with you. You guys have been so successful with the high clearance rate and with the number of horses that have been sold and everything like that. What's the sales pitch that you give to somebody who says, I'm thinking about putting a horse in a digital sale, but maybe I'm going to do it with this other organization that's more international because my pedigree is a little bit more international. What attributes do you guys offer that the competition doesn't?
To be honest with you, John, I don't even, it's attribute wise. I mean, what you're going to get with Fasig-Tipton that you aren't going to get with some other online platform is you have the whole team of Fasig-Tipton. You have our accounting department, our marketing department. You got Jesse and Frank. You got, all the guys that are Evan and Max and Anna and Grant and me, and we're all, Bane. They just don't have that. No one's got the whole Fasig-Tipton team. And Fasig-Tipton is what it is solely because of the team that's involved. Whether it's in person, online, we could sell cattle and it would still be successful because we have a great team.
Right. Absolutely. And I guess just from an accounting standpoint, which is where I have, my background, the fact that I know if I enter a horse with you guys, when the hammer goes down, I'm getting paid guaranteed within 30 days. I mean,
that's right. You are. Yeah.
That's a big difference, I think.
It is a big difference, but it brings me back. We talk about our team here. I'm the most hated man at Fasig-Tipton, John, and I know, and it's because everybody at Fasig had a job that they were busy with full time before digital sales started.
Right.
So now we've doubled the amount of sales that we have every year. And so, I get some dirty looks around the office. So that's all right.
I'm sure they curse you as they're taking their bonus check to the bank every year, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
But it's honestly like it's. I mean, there are times I joke with Leif about it, but yeah, I mean, literally our sales have doubled. I mean, we've gone from 12, 13 sales a year to now 24. And right now today, I know we're recording this on a Tuesday, but today starts a stretch of 6 sales in 7 weeks. 5 are in person and 1 is digital. But it's awesome. I mean, that's the whole point of this. And those sales, by the way, 3 of those are regional sales. So you have California, we have the Saratoga Fall sale, we have the October yearling sale for the Mid-Atlantic region. So those are still regional sales that we're having in person. So the fact that we're supporting in-person and digital sales, and we're doing our best to support not just Kentucky and not just the major markets, but also regional markets too. I love it. I mean, it's increased our workload, but I love the action too. And I think that's why everybody at Fasig, that's why we gel. That's why we're happy to do what we do, and we love what we do because we like the action. And that's just another selling point that you have when you're recruiting horses. You have, as Leif mentioned, an entire team.
Yeah.
From Boyd and our entire sales team, the accounting team. We all have places that we come from. It's a pretty diverse background of people from different regions. Plus, we also have Peter Penny, we have Ramiro Restrepo, we have Mike Mikowski out here in California, and Padgett, who handles all the Mid-Atlantic stuff. So you get nationwide coverage and you get worldwide coverage too.
It's a dream team for sure, which is why we enjoy working with you guys, not only on the podcast, but also buying and selling. And guys, I can't thank you enough for taking so much time out of your day. I know, like you said, you have all these sales coming up, including one that's going to be starting pretty soon behind you, Jesse. So, again, I appreciate so much. Jesse Ullery, the voice of Fasig-Tipton. Leif Aaron, the most hated man at Fasig-Tipton, self-proclaimed. Although I'm sure when Boyd hears this, he's going to be like, hold my beer. I got this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So be careful what you wish for. But gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. And not only for providing us with such a phenomenal platform, but for perpetuating this platform to such high levels where we have a chance to buy and sell additional horses. So, guys, thanks so much. I look forward to Leif. I'm sure you're going to be hearing from my man Jeff Hazlett over at TaylorMade with, I think we have 12 or 14 horses we're putting into this digital sale, so we're supporting it again. And thank you both for all your efforts. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the flesh in Kentucky soon.
That sounds great. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. We appreciate your support. We appreciate everybody's support. But thanks for having us on today. We really appreciate it.
Always.